Okay, so it's been a week later. Um, I want to kind of reiterate some of the things that we went out that I reviewed, and that was more for the installation. Now that I've had it for a week, I have a few more things that I want to discuss and share with you to things that I've now I understand a little better, and some problems I've seen with it. So I haven't figured out how to tie the camera onto the unit itself. That'd be kind of neat to show you how the stitching works and whatnot. I just can't get this camera to focus on my little tiny screen I have. So I will say that the footage looks better on the computer than it does on my little screen. So that is kind of good. So let's get right into it. So the number one thing I found out, I really messed up on the calibration. In my defense, again, the instructions are not very clear on how that camera, and I mostly screwed up on those side mirrors. In the, wherever I put it, in the instructions, they're kind of spread apart, but it says that the mirrors need, or the cameras on the mirrors need to be 50 degrees out and 50 degrees back, and I didn't do the 50 degrees back, so kind of my fault. What I did is when I did the calibration, I just kind of eyeballed it on what they said to line it up, so I lined it up with the side of the car and with the tape. But I guess it's not looking far enough back, so I got this weird spot. Anyways, that didn't matter. I've not been able to find on the menu on their website, or I can't remember where, but I think it was on their website, and in the manual it shows this bird's eye view. I've not been able to find that. I can't find it anywhere in there where you can see that. It's always off to the side. It just looks around the car, kind of towards your car. So I don't know if I just don't have that, or they're just doing it. They're just showing it for whatever reason. Another thing that I've had problems with is the reversing switch. I mentioned in the installation, follow the wires, and in the back camera, I didn't follow it completely, so the rear window hit it. I just had to adjust that, which was fine because I was able to verify a connection in there. Because what was happening is the reversing camera, the trigger wasn't working. It would work sometimes, and then it wouldn't work. So I went in, I kind of checked everything out, and it started working really good, and then it stopped again. So I don't know what's going on with that. It just seems like it always wants to stay on that front view. I have it set up so they give you a little button that you could use instead of connecting the trigger wire for the front camera onto high beams, which I still don't understand. You can put it, I mean, you kind of put it everywhere. I had an idea for the trigger wire for the front camera. Instead of using the button, I had a good idea. I wish I would have had that when I did the install. So I don't use the fog lamps at all. I thought that'd be a really good spot to put the trigger wire for the front camera is on those fog lamps. Unless you're one of those idiots that drive with them on all the time, you can put it on there. So turn those on, and it'll turn on that front camera. So that was an idea, because I just put that little button, and I don't know if the button's faulty, and I can't change it to the back camera like I can turn it to the side camera so I can see for parking or whatnot, but I can't. The back turns on and then it turns off, so it's kind of frustrating. And again, sometimes the reverse works, sometimes it doesn't. Another thing, as you'll see here, the resolution isn't as good as I wanted it to be. So sort of disappointed. It's not grainy. It's just not. So as far as the frames per second seems pretty good. It's not glitchy, but it's just not up to the standard that I thought it would be. It's a little bit better than my last dash cam, so that was kind of a downer right there. Also, again, the whole turn signal turns on. I know part of it is I don't have the cameras exactly where they go, the side mirror cameras. So as far as the turn signal part, it's not working right. But even still, if it was working right, it's still more of a distraction than anything. So I'm going to fix the side cameras. But using it like that, I just turn the trigger off because it's just it's much too distracting when you're trying to turn. So that was, like I said, it's a novelty. It doesn't help. I'd really love to do that bird's eye view thing for parking. That would really make it nice, but I can't find out where you do that, where that is even a menu item. So you can kind of move almost like you're moving a camera around, but again, it looks into your car, which it'd almost be nice if it looked out, like you're standing on the side. I don't know. I can't explain it. It doesn't look okay. So to give you an idea, this is in the manual. So in the manual, you can see these are the views that it gives you. It's got this bird's eye view thing, and I had the split screen on for a little bit, and maybe because I didn't have it set up all the way. Maybe I'll have to try that one. But this is the kind of view I was talking about. See how it looks towards the front? This one kind of looks towards the front, to the side, and then of course looks over the top. They're not really that useful because there's things I can already see. I need to look towards the back, but it just doesn't do that. And I don't know if that's just I don't know if it's a dumb programming thing or what. It seems like it could do it, but it just can't. So, hey, thanks for joining me on this little final review. So overall, it's still a good system. I mean, it's not $1,000 system or $2,000 system. It still did pretty good. It's really nice as a backup camera when it works. And it is nice to have that recording 24/7. The USB thing is really nice. It does say in the manual that it goes to the USB. If you put a thumb drive in there, it defaults to that. But actually, I found it doesn't. It defaults to. I put a little TF card in there. It actually defaults to that. I don't know. That's just what it did to me. Because I had it in there for just in case. I found that I went to go get some footage one time, and I didn't push the thumb drive all the way in, and so it didn't record. But so to give you an idea how much recording time you get, a 32 gigabyte thumb drive will give you, or SD card, will give you 21 hours of recording time. So overall, it's still good. I'm not too worried about it. If I can, it's really cold here. So when it warms up, I'll do the calibration again. I'll do a video for the calibration to show you that now that I've got it in and I've ran it a little bit, now I understand what needs to happen with the calibration tape and the angle of the cameras. It just didn't make sense, and their instructions just are not clear. And I don't fault them for that. I've written O&M manuals before. It's really hard to write down what you already know to explain to someone who doesn't know. So I don't really fault them for that, but it isn't clear enough to understand what needs to happen and how that needs to happen. I think if you were doing it professionally and it was your first time, whoever you're doing for is probably gonna have to come back and say, hey, this isn't working right. Now that I know it, once it warms up, I'll do it again, because I need to do it in a parking lot, somewhere with a lot of space. You need quite a bit of space to do it. So it's still satisfied with it. Just those few little things that, I guess it isn't some kind of crazy high-end. I know there's some really high-end systems that are very similar, but crazy. Oh, another weird, and this is really not a thing on the unit itself, but that front camera, and you can kind of see it a little bit in the daytime driving. There was a little smudge on the front of the camera, and that is going to be typical for any camera mounted outside. I know most dash cam footage you see, it's behind the dash, but or behind the windshield. It's really bad when it's rainy, but you're going to get that with any camera mounted outside. But yeah, and if you want any more information, sorry about the long video on the install. It was a long install, a lot of little things to worry about. Just let me know in the comments if you want anything, if you need any more information. I try and do that. I get a little busy sometimes, but anything is not clear, I kind of understand a lot more really after operating it, and a few more things make sense. So just let me know, and we'll go. I can probably help you out. So